At the moment, Rodolfus Choir is engaged in rehearsing and recording a newly commissioned piece from Paul Mealor. We had the idea of commissioning Paul Mealor to write a companion piece to Rejoice in the Lamb by Benjamin Britten, because it's Benjamin Britten's centenary year. And the poetry of Christopher Smart is so fascinating and so settable to music that it really is worth finding some more. And Paul found some, and of the 5 movements in this piece, there are 2 with words by Christopher Smart. Paul Mealor is particularly good at finding good texts, and he feels them passionately and intensely, and he has all sorts of ways of reflecting that in the music, and many of them very subtle indeed. We are actually doing it in the magnificent keyboard. You can probably hear from my voice that there's quite an acoustic here, and that's beautiful for choirs to sing in. Also, the organ up there has just been replaced, and it's a beautiful instrument, and we've used that for some of the music. We Rejoice in the Lamb, for example. It's beautifully decorated, this mid-19th century chapel, and we're here recording for 2.5 days, and very much enjoying the experience.
How many beats of that stuff in the beginning do you need to jump that 3rd beat?
To start with, just went in and did that middle section from E onwards, and then came back and did the beginning after that.
Could someone else do that as well?
I think we have Max doing it as well.
Okay, Eton, the 2 of you do the bottom alto. And can we have one on the top alto? Okay, Zaki does the top alto.
My piece, Praise, for choir and organ and optional percussion, is a setting of 5 different texts, all connected with words of praise, really, to God. At the heart of this set is 2 snippets from Christopher Smart's fabulous poem, A Song to David. And the idea was that this piece would be a kind of celebration of Smart's poetry, but also of the music of Benjamin Britten, as 2013 is the centenary of Britten. And Britten, of course, set Smart, Rejoice in the Lamb. So it's seen that this piece is a kind of companion piece to that. Although in essence it's become its own piece, because the words that I decided to set just took upon a whole different meaning, and so the piece really became a kind of homage to all of my favourite British composers. And it's been fabulous bringing these texts together. And of course, an original text by Geoffrey Rowell, who's the Bishop of Gibraltar, Your Gentleness, O God of Grace, who was for many years the Dean of Keble.
Paul has his own sound world, which he has invented, in as much as any composer ever invents anything. Every composer is influenced all over the place by all sorts of people. However, it is very distinctive. Added seconds, seconds against thirds, all sorts of additions to the scale, which really lead to beautiful sounds, and a certain clear harmonic direction, which I absolutely love, combined with extreme sensitivity to the words. And that I love too, because I very much enjoy getting choirs to sing with that kind of sensitivity towards words and that sense of direction.
In Praise, as well as the choir and soloists, 2 extremely fiendishly difficult solos in this piece. I'm merciless when it comes to solos, I'm afraid. There are also percussion instruments, and slightly unusual, I suppose, you might think in a choral piece. There are tubular bells, which is a favourite sound of mine. I use it in a lot of pieces. In fact, I use it for the first piece I wrote for the Rodolfus Choir in 2010, which is a setting of O Vos Omnes, which I dedicated to Ralph Allwood. So there's that piece, and then also there's a tam-tam, and there is the Tibetan singing bowl, which is an instrument I love very much because it has a feeling as well as a sound. And in the second movement of this piece, which is a setting of Christopher Smart, you get to actually go inside the Tibetan singing bowl with the harmonics that the choir resonate with and sometimes against.
The commission by Paul Miller has been really challenging, but at the same time it's brought quite a lot of good feelings. Everyone's enjoyed singing the piece. It's been nice to hear something different, something new that I've not really heard anything like it before, and I quite like that.
I'd say probably the highlights of Paul Miller's piece is the soprano solo, and it's really beautiful, and I have to try and not listen to it when I sing it and concentrate on my part, but yeah, that's definitely a really good bit.
The challenges faced by the singer are quite clear in pieces by Paul Miller because he very much likes very high notes and very low notes, and so you've got to be really vocally at your absolute best to be able to do it. He, in this piece, is written as low as a bottom G, for example, for the basses. Mercifully, he has that in brackets, so that if you haven't got a bottom G in the basses, you don't have to produce it. And he also has a top D for a soprano soloist. But that's not to show off or purposely make things difficult. Of course, it all fits and it all works. And I particularly like the low textures that he uses often. He uses not clusters, but quite close notes, low down, making a beautiful low sound, provided the singers can sing it with real brightness and focus.
I think something about Rodolfus is that everyone is quite responsive, so Ralph can say something and everyone would do it first time. Working in a team in a choir is a really important thing, and in not all choirs you get that. So I found that something that's been really good about the experience.
So our conductor is Ralph Allwood, MBE, and he's one of the best conductors. He's renowned for really bringing choral music for the youth into the light, and he's really done a great job for many years. Not just with Rods, but with many other choirs as well. So, yeah. And he also runs the Eton Choral Courses, which are quite well known as well.
I've done 3 Eton Choral Courses. My first one was back in 2009 in Canterbury, and after my last course in 2012, I was asked to join Rods. I've been rocking up to gigs that I can do ever since. Socially, it's been really good fun, to be honest. I think this Rods choir has been quite mixed in age. There are quite older ones like me, and then there are younger ones, so it's been good to kind of bring us together. Everyone's got on, and it's been a good course.
I first heard of Eton Choral Courses from a girl I met on holiday who said that she'd done one when she was younger, about 10 years beforehand, and she recommended I go. I'd never done any choral singing before that, but I absolutely loved it since.